Hey, CVPR 2026 review. For context, I went to CVPR to present this paper, Gauss and Flesh. It was a workshop paper for 4D Vision. First major AI research conference. Had a great time. Just get out of the way. I'll probably rate it at 9 out of 10, if not 10 out of 10. And the only really bad thing I could say about CVPR were the oral sessions, because the oral sessions were meant to be distinguished from poster sessions where everyone presents their research. I really don't know why, because the people who presented the oral sessions, while they had amazing research, they were more so reading from their notes, and then there was even that much time for questions. So you couldn't really have like a communal experience where there's like a big community of researchers asking the right questions and like giving different ideas. It was really just like, hey, I read some notes and then maybe two questions, and then I move on to the next person who does the exact same thing. So that was unfortunate, but besides that, everything was amazing. Poster sessions, company exhibits slash booths, mixers, and just the whole shebang, right? I haven't used that word before, but hopefully I used it right. Um, I don't even know what to start. I think the poster sessions were amazing. The poster sessions, for anyone who doesn't know, with these research conferences, what happens is that you basically have people who've done a research paper that's been accepted to a conference. Now, when they come there, they make a poster for however long, and they present to whoever comes to their poster. Sometimes no one comes to your poster, which is sad. Sometimes people come to your poster, maybe one or two, or maybe like a full group of people, and you present. I really did love these because to prior conferences I've been to, they've mostly been really broad. Where like I maybe do something in AI, which is broad itself, and then someone will do something in breast cancer, someone will do something in linguistics, someone will do something in climate change. So it really be like a whole diverse thing, but it'll be really awkward for myself because there's not that many papers or posters I'm interested in. Whereas this computer vision, while broad, was something I was just largely interested in. So it was a great time from that angle, but it's also great to just interact with so much knowledge. Like first time, like I could really just go up to someone and just talk to them, like, hey, what's going on? And ask them about questions about the paper, maybe show an idea or two at them, maybe say, oh, have you thought about this? How are you doing this? And just like make really great connections that like maybe could last the test of time. I don't know yet because it's only been like 2 weeks. I have done my follow up, so hopefully that goes well. Also, my poster session went great as well. I was really worried that no one's gonna. First of all, I was worried that my paper was gonna suck. I was gonna get kicked out of the conference. That didn't happen. But I was also worried that no one showed up to my poster. That didn't happen as well. People showed up. Thank God. Um, it was just amazing. I also think following that there was the company exhibits. The company exhibits were still, I think, the best I've actually been to because it's also like it's a company exhibit, but I also consider it a career fair. But I think the thing that distinguishes from career fairs I've gone to in the past is that it wasn't our line. It wasn't our wait for each company just for you to get there and they say, oh, apply online or the engineers aren't here, which isn't a diss at recruiters 'cause I think recruiters are amazing. I love talking to them. But what I've noticed previously is that with a lot of career fairs, it's free recruiters who come to these events and they don't have the most knowledge about what's going on behind the scenes in terms of what the company is actually doing, like here day to day, or what the vision is for the tech. And plus, it's an hour wait for each line, so like you don't even have that much time to explore each company. Whereas with CVPR, there were the frontier companies were there, so that was one. But two, there was no way. I didn't have to wait for any company. Three, I guess since I was an undergrad who had a paper in CVPR, even if it was for a workshop, that did give me some I don't say I don't even know what the word is. It's not aura, but it gave me like, oh, he has something, like he has like a hook. But four, it's just like there was also recruiters and researchers from the company. So it wasn't just a matter of, hey, do you guys have positions, which they obviously do, but it was a matter of, hey, what are you guys doing? Maybe if I want to make sure my research is in line with the demands of the industry, which is questionable in itself, but still, um, I can do that, right? Or I can share some research ideas. You can give me some research ideas. I can just be a really engaging conversation either which way. It's not just a matter of, hey, can I have a job at your company? It's like, oh, this is like a research idea I'm really curious about. I know you guys are executing really well at it. Companies that did surprise me at the research conference were Netflix and Sony because they're doing some really cool stuff. I also just think I'm just like a really interested in the whole intersection or interaction between media and AI. Because at first I thought it was like, oh, it's very early on, which it still is. But like, there's definitely been shows where AI has been used. That was the vibe I got. It wasn't explicitly said, so no one can say I said this and someone can get in trouble. But it was implied that it's being used to some degree, to a very well degree, to be honest. Because the work I was seeing at the the conference really did surprise me. I do think it does open up a lot of applications. That's also just another thing. Like there's so many applications and ideas. You just go from just walking around, whether it be looking at posts that they have anyone there, or whether it be talking to a random person. Um, and then the workshops. The workshops are something that was new to me because the conferences I've been to prior didn't really have that in some form, or they weren't really accessible. Whereas with this, you basically just go to a workshop, and then very few times were there workshops where you couldn't enter if you came on time. So that was really awesome to see. And it was like, honestly, I'll pay money for the workshops. Like the first workshop I went to, let me see if I can find it. But it was just amazing. It was like the sixth generation of space intelligence or tech or something. And like straight off the bat, I was like, this is crazy. Like this, the way it felt for me is like if you've ever watched one of those shows where there's like a conspiracy building up throughout the season or throughout the series, and you have like the episode where like everything gets revealed. That's how it felt for me. But I also think it felt like that for me because I don't really have a research group or advisor when I went to the conference. So it was like this was like stuff I've been testing. I was curious about. I had my suspicions. I was like, oh dang, like okay, this is true to a degree. I say true to a degree because like it's still also someone's view, opinion. Like there's people who said, oh, 3D is dead, video is the way. The people who said, no, video is not the way, 3D is still necessary, persistent geometry. I personally persistence and all that. I personally tended to side with them, but just so many great things and stuff I hadn't thought about. Even just the idea of neural engines and the work that's going on there, where robotics needs to go, where robotics definitely is not currently. So many amazing things. I think if you were a person who went to their first conference, I think the thing you should probably prioritize the most, in my opinion, it's definitely the workshops. I just think like they're so valuable because like there's so many stuff. I don't want to say confirmation, but like it's almost like, oh dang, okay, other people are thinking along this line as well. So there's definitely something there. There's definitely a scent. There's definitely something to be sought after in that direction. So it was very amazing. Also, I got to, I don't know if it's because I don't know the proper etiquette. I think I was like, I won't say I was one of the only people asking questions, but I was definitely the first for every workshop I really went to that I was asking questions. If I had the, it wasn't like fake questions, but it was those questions I genuinely had. I do think they were good. I definitely did get a lot of good insight that I got to take notes. And that's another thing. I know this is kind of becoming rambling, but I brought my iPad. I think anyone who goes to their first major AI research conference, I definitely think bring some note taker. So it's because there's so much stuff you're going to think you're going to remember, but then it's like a really long conference, a really long day, and you're going to forget a lot of stuff. So if you take notes and really good notes, you can look over and then extract the insights properly. So that's another thing. Something I really didn't think there was going to be was mixers. So mixers were basically hosted by companies or startups where they invite researchers and say, "Hey guys, just talk amongst yourselves." When I originally went to the first one of the conference that I've been invited to, I thought it was really just a matter of, oh, I go talk to employees and that's the gist of it, right? And that really wasn't the case. I think maybe there, I can't remember the exact company. The first one I went to, I got to talk to the CEO, which was really cool. He was giving me a whole spiel about what the company is doing, and he really knew. I don't know if it was the CEO or the CFO or something, but he really knew the whole gist of the company and the research. And it was really interesting to hear the whole behind the scenes and just asking me a bunch of questions. It also made me realize because I was a PhD student who was asking really amazing questions. And I think along just the way that he thought was just really amazing to witness because I was not doing that. So it really made me question my own thinking patterns. But that was the only company I could really think of, and plus DeepMind, which I got to go to the DeepMind mixer because funny enough, um, one of the creators went to my high school, and then some of the researchers I knew, so I didn't know, but like, she invited me to the mixer, and that was really amazing. I'm really, really grateful for those alumni connections. I got to talk to the DeepMind people, and anyone who's known me long enough knows that DeepMind is like one of the companies or research labs I'm most fearful of in terms of when I have a research idea, because I think they've done everything. Like even this work I'm doing with the next phase of Star Labs, where we're moving from the subject to the actual learner, the model. The paper who's closest to what we're actually trying to do is DeepMind. Like DeepMind produced the paper in 2021, I think. So it's really crazy. It was really crazy to see them, but those were the only two I think I actually talked to employees. With the rest, it was really less talking to the employees or the researchers and more so talking amongst yourself. So I know for NVIDIA, I really didn't get to talk to any of the NVIDIA researchers besides one, but that was funny because the people I was talking to, they weren't like they were from South Korea, so I was just talking to them. And someone who I asked for a coffee chat earlier, like in the weeks, where I like mentioned in one of these videos, was actually their lab partner. So it's a really weird coincidence, but like that was one. Majority of the mixers I went to were really just trying to make connections with people who are also doing similar stuff, or just like at the mixer as well. So I think um, that was something I wasn't expecting, but I think was something that was worthwhile, especially because there's so much research going on that like there's people maybe at Meta doing some amazing things, maybe in South Korea doing amazing things, maybe in Ghana, Kenya, wherever doing amazing things that could help your research. So making those connections was probably more helpful than just going straight to the researchers at the labs. Because sometimes I do have a temptation to say, hey, can you give me a position? Because that's really the bulk of the conversation sometimes. But I think just talking to other people is really, really great. Overall, though, there's probably some stuff I'm forgetting, but if you're a person in my position where you really do love research and you really don't feel you really want to know what's out there, right? I definitely recommend going to one of these conferences if you can go. There's also the stuff of financial burden or financial cost. I'm fortunate to have people who will help cover the cost for myself, so really grateful to them. But I definitely recommend trying to find any scholarship, any which way you can really get to the conference because it really does help a lot. And it's still helping me. There's connections that like I just had a meeting, which I want to announce some news, but I can't because that should be a separate video. But like these connections are still bringing good news to today, so that's really awesome. It's just a great time. I had so much fun. There were so many cool exhibits. There were so many cool robots to play around with. There was so much cool tech to see and get inspired by. Um, but yeah, that's really it. Honestly, I said 9 out of 10 at the beginning, but really 10 out of 10 conference. Really did love it. I'm hoping to go to CVPR 2027 with a main track paper. So hopefully that goes well. I pray. But besides that, I have nothing else to say. So have a great day.